This is the $300 trillion shift. This is the move that could put the entire Wall Street bond market into a brand new system of money. What we're talking about is the first new financial asset in 500 years. Now, for about the last 300 years, the world ran on gold-backed credit. But now for the first time in about 500 years, we have a new base layer, what we're calling digital capital. Or as Michael Saylor puts it, Bitcoin is money, everything else is credit. Now, we've digitized books, music, movies, and now it's time for money itself. And like all things digital, it's faster, it's stronger, and it's better. And it's replacing the fragile financial capital of the industrial era. And on top of this digital capital, we can now build something even bigger. Digital credit. Now, I've been selling tech companies for decades. I'm a partner at a leading Bitcoin venture fund. I'm an officer of my own publicly traded Bitcoin treasury company. And these aren't just theories, right? This is the exact playbook that we're running at the highest level. And in this video, I'm going to show you how it all works and what it means for your wealth. So let's go. All right, so jumping right in, most people think of money as something like this. Bills, paper currency, right? Something they'd keep in their wallet. Numbers on their bank app. But the majority of what we call dollars, they're not actually dollars at all. They're credit. You see, bank deposits are just IOUs, and they're backed by other IOUs. Like your cash is just a claim on someone else's balance sheet, right? The reason why is we're in a credit. We're more precisely in a debt-based monetary system. And new money isn't created by producing more value like it's supposed to. Instead, it's being created through debt issuance. So every time the government sells a bond, right, or a bank makes a loan, more dollars get created. That means the entire system rests on a foundation of debt. Now, the problem with that is that when the foundation of the financial system is government treasuries, fiat currency, right, or real estate, you inherit all the risks of inflation, counterparty failure, and debasement. Now, the capital itself is deteriorating while more and more credit is stacked up on top of it. So the real question is this, what happens when we rebuild the entire credit system, but on top of a new form of capital, and I'm calling this digital capital. And it can't be printed, it can't be inflated, and it doesn't deteriorate. We're talking about a new foundation built on this new digital capital, right? And if we think about it, as I said in the intro, right, we digitize books. We digitize music. Movies are digital now, right? They stream. And now we're digitizing money itself. And like every other digital transformation that we've seen, it moves faster, right? It's stronger. And it's much better than anything that came before it. And so Bitcoin is sort of like digital gold, but it's so much more than that. It's something gold could never be. It's digital. Right? It's digital capital. So this new digital capital is the base layer of this new financial system that's being built. And unlike fiat, it can't be printed. Unlike real estate, it doesn't deteriorate. Unlike gold, it can be moved at the speed of light. It can be audited instantly, and it can be programmed into any financial system on Earth. It's incorruptible, it's scarce, it's permanent, and it's the perfect collateral for credit.
P. Morgan said gold is money, everything else is credit. This morning I said Bitcoin is money, everything else is credit. The success of gold is indicative of the demand of mainstream investors to have a bearer instrument that's a long-term store of value, that's not a currency derivative and doesn't have counterparty risk to a corporation. Gold fits that bill. Bitcoin fits that bill even better, and it's sort of got the digital upside. You can't teleport gold, and you can't program gold to vibrate at 1,000,000 times a second on a computer. So Bitcoin is the technology version of gold. It's digital gold. It's going to be, in my opinion, 10x bigger than gold.
All right, that's the shift. We're moving from a world of fragile, inflationary credit built on top of a weak foundation to a system where credit can be issued against the strongest capital base humanity's ever seen. Now, Bitcoin it's like a lot of things, but what it is it's digital capital. And this doesn't just improve what we already have, it unlocks something entirely new. Now, by the way, if you want to really understand how this all plays out, which Bitcoin treasury companies like Strategy are building this new layer, this new system on digital credit, I did put together a full Bitcoin treasury guide, and I'm walking through it live. I'm going to show you the charts I'm watching. I want to show you the companies I'm buying. I want to answer all your questions live. There's a link in the description down below. We'll put a QR code here on the screen if you want to grab your spot. It's totally free to come hang out, but space is limited. So just check out the link, grab your spot. But let's take a look at how digital credit actually works. Okay, so now we have something new, right? We have this digital capital, and so now we can build new things. So whenever we get a new building block like steel, we can build things like skyscrapers and bridges. When we get digital capital, we can also build new things on top of it, right? Things like digital credit. Now, for centuries, the world ran on this gold-backed bonds, mortgages, and credit was always issued against some form of collateral. That's why you hear things like, what's Bitcoin backed by, right? Well, the dollar used to be backed by gold, right? It was credit. The collateral was the gold. So what's the dollar backed by? Well, it used to be backed by gold in the bank. Credit and debt is backed by something, right? Now that hasn't changed. What's changed now is the collateral. So instead of fiat, instead of real estate, instead of government bonds, we can now issue credit, the digital credit, against Bitcoin, right, against the digital capital. Now, this is what companies like Strategy, right, they're pioneering. They issued preferred equity, perpetual instruments, and they never come due. They're backed by their Bitcoin asset holdings. Now, these trade like money, right? They trade like money market funds or savings accounts, but instead of paying you, say, 4% like a bank, they're yielding 8, 9, 10, even 11%. And here's why that's important, right? Traditional credit instruments like bonds or loans or mortgages, they're really fragile, right? They rely on assets that lose value over time. But digital credit is built on top of an asset that appreciates in value over time, an asset that can't be inflated or debased, right? It can be verified instantly.
So treasury companies, in essence, are holding digital capital and creating digital credit instruments on top of that digital capital. And there's, of course, a huge demand for equity and credit instruments in traditional capital markets. And Bitcoin is emerging as the ideal form of digital capital to back those instruments.
Now, so if you take a look, you can see what's actually happening here, right? The volatility of Bitcoin is being stripped away because these fixed income investors want the income. They don't want to see their portfolios swing 40% with volatility. They want stable yield. They got to pay their bills every single month. So by issuing perpetual preferreds, these companies can convert the Bitcoin upside into a credit instrument with steady returns and no maturity risk. I mean, if you think about what this means, there's no rollover risk. There's no margin calls. There's no forced liquidation, even if Bitcoin drops. Right? That's a fundamentally different structure than any other credit market that we've ever seen.
But if you're selling a perpetual instrument, I borrow $1 billion forever, and I agree to pay you, say, 10% dividend yield forever. The principal's never coming due, right? And the preferred stock, by definition, is a dividend. It's not a coupon. The board has to have the option to suspend it in duress. So it's, practically speaking, possible to take your leverage beyond 20% to 30 or 40% even, but you don't have the kind of credit risk you have when you have a bond or a margin.
That's a massive breakthrough. Digital credit turns Bitcoin into the foundation of a new fixed income system. And it pays a higher yield, it carries lower risk, and it's structurally more resilient than the debt-based credit system that we're living in today. And when you realize that the fixed income market is over $300 trillion, you start to see just how big this can get. And where this starts to get really powerful is digital credit isn't just another yield product. It's an engine that creates a feedback loop between Bitcoin and the credit markets. So here's how it works. Step one, a company like Strategy issues digital credit like a preferred stock or a perpetual note. Step two, the dollars raised are now used to buy more Bitcoin. Step three, that Bitcoin collateral strengthens their balance sheet, which allows them to issue even more credit. And then step four, the cycle continues to repeat. Now, every time this loop turns, more dollars are created, more Bitcoin is taken off the market, and the value of the remaining Bitcoin rises. Now, that rising collateral base means even greater capacity to issue more credit. It becomes a flywheel.
We're on the verge of the creation of a digital credit market that right now it looks like 20, 30 billion a year. It's 30 billion a year. And the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times and Ford, they haven't noticed it exists yet. But we're about to go to 50 billion and 100 billion and 200 billion. And so think about $1 trillion of credit. And when it's $1 trillion of credit, it's not 1% of the credit in the world. And people still don't notice it exists. And so the real opportunity for all these companies is to issue billions, then tens of billions, then hundreds of billions of digital credit.
Now, this dynamic is sometimes called a speculative attack on the dollar because as new dollars are being created through credit, they're immediately converted into Bitcoin, which then tightens the supply and it drives up Bitcoin's marginal price. More credit issuance means more Bitcoin accumulation, and that accelerates the shift away from the old system. So instead of a fragile debt-based system where inflation erodes the savings, you now have a system where the credit base strengthens every year and the collateral keeps getting scarcer. Now, if we take a step back and we look at the scale and we see what's happening, right? The global fixed income market, government bonds, corporate bonds, money market accounts, savings products, right? It's over $300 trillion. It's the largest asset class in the world, and it's all built entirely on debt. So of course, the system's fragile, right? It's low yielding, it's being debased by inflation, and in some countries, the yields are even negative. But digital credit changes the equation. Now, for the first time, the credit can be issued against an appreciating asset. That's the key piece. Against an appreciating incorruptible asset, digital capital.
What if there's $100 trillion of digital credit and hundreds, by the way, 100 trillion in digital credit backed by 200 trillion worth of digital capital would be not fractional banking, right? You haven't got to 1-to-1, you're still 2x over collateralized, which would be better than the very best AAA corporate investment grade debt in the United States is like 2.5 times or 2.5 times over collateralized. Yeah. So it's all AAA investment grade, but with more yield and more transparency. So I see the end game as the credit markets are reinvigorated and digitally transformed to be backed by Bitcoin.
Think about that. Even if just 1% of the fixed income market migrated into digital credit, that's $3 trillion flowing into Bitcoin. At 5%, it's $15 trillion. At 10%, we're talking over $30 trillion. I mean, these numbers are so large, they would replace the entire global financial system. This is why digital credit isn't just another financial product. It's the Trojan horse pulling Wall Street, pension funds, sovereign wealth funds, all into Bitcoin, whether they realize it or not. Okay, so now that you see it, what does all this mean for you? Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down from the 300 trillion to your own savings account. Okay, so today, your choice in fixed income, they're mostly broken, right? Savings accounts pay you basically 0, maybe up to 4%. Bonds lock up your capital for years and in return, 2, 3, 4%. Some countries, as I said earlier, they're literally getting a negative yield, meaning you pay the bank to hold your money. It's a system that guarantees you lose to inflation. But again, digital credit flips all this upside down. So now these companies can issue perpetual preferreds or money market style instruments backed by Bitcoin. That means that the yield goes from the 2 to 4% that doesn't keep up with inflation to now 9, 10, 11%. And instead of being debased away, the collateral, right, the Bitcoin itself, goes up in value over time. So instead of being risky, where most of this debt, this yield is under collateralized debt, now you get assets that are 5 or even 10 times over collateralized. So it's safer, you get higher yield. That's digital credit. All right, that's the key. You don't even have to be a Bitcoin believer to benefit from this. If you're a fixed income investor or just someone who wants their savings to grow faster, digital credit is already offering better yield, better collateral, and better structure than anything else that's in the old system. And as more and more of that $300 trillion pie shifts into digital credit, the upside gets amazingly stronger. Okay, so how do we use this to our own advantage? Let me break it down. A couple ways we can do this. So option one, this would be if I'm like a conservative fixed income investor, right? So I'm a fixed income investor, maybe I'm someone who needs safer income alternatives, right? I'm looking for a yield higher than what Treasuries pays me, right? Maybe higher than money market accounts or corporate bonds. Then I might consider a product like Stretch, STRC. Now it trades sort of like a money market account, meaning it's pegged at like 100. It's not supposed to go up and down very much, and it's currently paying out about 10.5% yield. Now, another option would be option 2, if I'm more of like a balanced like dividend style investor, right? So I want some income, but I'm also willing to stomach a little bit of volatility because I want my capital to go up. So I might buy a dividend stock like IBM or AT&T or something like that. Now, similar to what that traditional dividend investor would expect from stocks, something that goes up in value and pays a dividend, we now have an asset like Strike, STRK, or also Strife, STRF. They give you yield, but you get a little bit more torque if Bitcoin goes up in value. All right, and now option 3 is if I'm more of like an aggressive investor and I just want the pure upside. I don't care about the yield, right? And so if I'm that person and I see that this flywheel effect is real, I see digital credit pulling trillions into Bitcoin, and I don't need income, I just want pure upside exposure, then I might consider the common stock, right? MSTR, or other treasury companies, maybe Metaplanet, MTPLF, maybe, Strive or Asset, something like that. And of course, we should always hold Bitcoin first as our base layer. But in other words, no matter what kind of investor you are, whether you're conservative, balanced, you're aggressive, there's now a way to participate in this $300 trillion shift. Okay? Digital credit is creating options for every single profile. And they all tie back to the same trend, Bitcoin as digital capital. All right, now look, we've spent the last 100 years building credit on top of debt, on top of treasuries, on top of real estate, on top of fiat currencies. But for the first time in history, we can now build credit on top of digital capital, right? The digital credit. And more of this $300 trillion fixed income market is going to continue to shift into this new system, and that means the upside only gets stronger. Now, if you want to go deeper into this, I put together a full Bitcoin treasury guide that shows you the companies that are leading the new digital credit ecosystem. I also want to host a live workshop where I'm going to break it all down. I'm going to show you the charts that I'm watching. I want to show you the companies that I'm buying, the strategies that I'm using right now. It's all going to be live. It's all going to be free. I'll take all your questions. I'll help you apply this all to your own investments. This is going to be the most explosive asset class of the next decade. Now, come hang out. It's free to join, but space is limited. So there's a link down below, QR code here on the screen. Just go ahead and grab a spot, and I'll see you there. But if you want to keep going and you want to keep learning right now, you want to learn, you should go watch this video right here titled Bitcoin's iPhone Moment is Here to learn more about earning 25% more on your money with digital credit, and I'll see you over there.